In Norse mythology, Jörmungandr, the gigantic and evil serpent that encircled the world, biting its own tail. He is one of the strongest giants of all time and physically largest of them. Jörmungandr was also known as the Midgard Serpent, or the World Serpent, because its body coiled around the whole earth underneath the oceans, and the earth was called Midgard in Norse cosmology. The serpent's eternal enemy was the thunder god Thor. Jörmungandr was one of 3 monstrous offspring of the giantess Angerbotha and the trickster fire god Loki. Jörmungandr's brother was the giant wolf Fenrir, whom the gods had to leash, and its sister was the goddess Hel, queen of the underworld. Jörmungandr's venom was utterly poisonous, and its size was immense. So the father of the gods, Odin, cast the serpent into the sea, wherever afterward its movements were responsible for fatal storms and tidal waves. Jörmungandr is a gigantic snake with an extremely long body. His body is covered in thick-keeled scales, its head rounded and compressed with a short and spatulate snout, and 2 nostrils located in between its relatively small eyes that were widely spaced apart. Jörmungandr also sported a beard made of seaweed and other aquatic plants on the bottom of its chin. His eye had vertical slit pupils. He has a row of conical sharp teeth inside both its upper and lower jaws, as well as a pair of hinged fangs on the roof of his upper jaw. Instead of having a snake tongue, he has a large human-like tongue instead in his mouth. Jörmungandr harbors a strong hatred towards the Aesir gods, principally Thor and Odin, for massacring the giants to near extinction. He hates Thor the most and vice versa, and both are destined to slay each other during Ragnarok. According to Mimir, the serpent absolutely abhors the statue of Thor and had just gotten sick of looking at it. Tyr was the only Aesir who earned his respect, as he helped to guard his temple and even responded to the horn in the temple's bridge. He also does not hate Mimir, likely as he's aware that the latter had tried his best to stop Odin from massacring the giants, and Mimir understanding his dead tongue. Jörmungandr is one of the most powerful beings in all the realms, enough so to equal the tremendous might of Thor, the strongest of the Aesir. He is one of the strongest giants of all time and physically largest of them. Jörmungandr had immeasurable strength. Due to his gargantuan size, Jörmungandr is among the physically strongest beings in the 9 realms. He was capable of stalemating Thor, who is physically strongest and second most powerful Norse god, in a clash that was felt across all the 9 realms. His strength was so great that the battle between him and Thor at Ragnarok violently shook and splintered Yggdrasil, causing the serpent to be sent backward through time, a feat which Kratos, who had experience traveling through time, regarded as madness. Another demonstration of his strength is how he can pull himself forward and hold his heavy head and body almost horizontally and push the world bridge with ease. Jörmungandr has tremendous levels of superhuman durability, enough so to survive 2 all-out battles with Thor. Despite his massive size, Jörmungandr can move at extreme superhuman speeds, allowing him to attack the corpse of Thamur and keep pace with Thor. He also possesses an extremely lethal venom called Eitur. He imbues Kratos' Leviathan axe with some of it on his first meeting with the duo. There are several key myths about Jörmungandr in Nordic folklore, best described in the Prose Edda and Poetic Edda. According to the most popular and widely accepted myths, There are three key meetings between Jörmungandr and the mighty thunder god Thor. The first meeting between Thor and Jörmungandr was because of the trickery of the giant king Utgard Loki. According to the legend, Utgard Loki issued a challenge to Thor in an attempt to test his strength. To pass the challenge, Thor had to lift a giant cat above his head. Little did Thor know that Utgard Loki had disguised Jörmungandr as a cat through magic. Thor pushed himself as far as he could and managed to lift one of the cat's paws off the ground, but couldn't lift the entire cat. Utgard Loki then told Thor that he shouldn't be embarrassed, as the cat was actually Jörmungandr. In fact, even lifting just one of the paws was a testament of Thor's strength, and had the god of thunder managed to lift the entire cat, he would have altered the very boundaries of the universe. The second meeting between Thor and Jörmungandr was much more significant. It happened during a fishing trip Thor had with the giant Hymir. As Hymir had refused to provide Thor with bait, the god of thunder had to cut off the head of the largest ox in the land to use it as bait. Once the two started fishing, Thor decided to sail further into the sea despite Hymir's protests. After Thor hooked and tossed the ox's head into the sea, Jörmungandr took the bait. Thor managed to pull the serpent's head from the water, with blood and poison spewing from the monster's mouth, implying that he hadn't yet grown large enough to bite his own tail. Thor lifted his hammer to strike and kill the monster, but Hymir grew scared that Thor would initiate Ragnarok and cut the line, freeing the giant serpent. The last meeting between Thor and Jörmungandr is the most famous one. After the serpentine sea dragon initiated Ragnarok, Thor engaged him in battle. The two fought for a long time, essentially preventing Thor from helping his fellow Asgardian deities in the war. Thor managed to eventually kill the World Serpent, but Jörmungandr had poisoned him with his venom, and Thor died soon after. Like his brother Fenrir, Jörmungandr is also a symbol of predestination. The Norse people were firm believers that the future is set and couldn't be changed. All everybody could do was just play their part as nobly as they could. However, Jörmungandr is viewed as the ultimate symbol of fate's inevitability. Jörmungandr is also viewed as the Nordic variant of the Ouroboros serpent. Originating from East African and Egyptian myths, Ouroboros is also a giant world serpent that encircled the world and bit his own tail. And like Jörmungandr, Ouroboros symbolizes the world's ending and rebirth.